Up and running, and Villa is loud.
Hello and welcome to the Villa Park podcast. It's me, Rich, and I'm back with Kev for your Lions Raw match reaction to Bournemouth 2, Aston Villa 2. We got the point by the skin of our teeth, and we're going to get into all of that on tonight's show. Go through the game, go through performances of certain players, and talk about what it means for moving forward in this massive week of games that we've got. But before that, please do all hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, help us get on the road to 3K. We are well over 2,750 subscribers, so less than 250 now needed to hit the big 3K mark. You guys can really help us get there. So like, subscribe, and comment, get involved in the comments, your thoughts on today's game, your thoughts on certain performances, as I'm sure we will get into. But Kev, how are you doing this fine evening?
Good, mate. Good. I've just watched, we timed this pod perfectly so I could watch Ronnie O'Sullivan win the UK Championship snooker, which was talking of wonderful performances. Wasn't too many of those in Villa shirts today, but he certainly did tonight. But mate, I'm good, mate. I'm good. I'm trying to be a bit more positive than I was after our last away performance when we got a great 2-1 win at Spurs, but I was a bit nagging disappointment, and it's still kicking away at me a little bit. But I'm looking at the league table, and I'm trying to be, be sort of reflective and sensible about it.
Absolutely, and today's games prove that there are going to be some, or actually the whole weekend's games prove that there's going to be some different results, shall we say, across the next few weeks. There's so many games coming up that teams are going to drop points here and there, and it's literally just about staying in it. And I think maybe this point, the way it was captured as well, could prove to be a big point as the season goes on.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you wouldn't think, I know they mentioned it about 49,000 times today, how, Bournemouth didn't start the season well, and look at them lately, but I thought they were great. And you have to look at games like this today, where actually, if a team is just on their best form and their best players particularly, are playing at their peak, then they would probably cause anybody problems. I would question whether, Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool would have got out of that today with a point as well, because you know what? Like, would their keeper have been as fantastic as ours on the day, and therefore that might have made the difference? He was obviously magnificent, Martinez, and I'm sure going to the players more lately. But I was super impressed with Bournemouth. I saw something going around X I saw it somewhere. Basically, it was like bottom 6 teams every time they play Villa, and it was like some montage of Barcelona doing like tiki taka basically and flicks around the corners. But it does feel like teams are stepping up against Villa these days, which is mad. But yeah, I was really, really impressed with Bournemouth today. And a number of their players, I was thinking, cheeky January bid for one of those, please.
Yeah. There was a few. We'll get into some of the performances from Bournemouth and from Villa alike. Few people in the chat. Rachel's in the house. Good evening, Rachel. Gary, hi all. Happy for the away fans today. Don't want to be coming home from Bournemouth empty-handed. Rub's in the house as well. Hey, Rub. Adamski, Michael as well. Deontay in the house. Rich is in the house as well. Lewis said, where's Sam tonight? Watkins scored again. Well, if you haven't seen his post on Twitter, or X as it's now known, Sam is actually in New York at the moment, and he watched the game with the New York Villains over there. So he had a great time. So, I'm sure we'll be buzzing about Ollie Watkins scoring as well. Loads coming into the chat. So let's just firstly talk around the starting lineup, because you mentioned 7 changes from the game on Thursday night. Some of them expected, Ollie Watkins again passing that fitness test as well, coming into the squad, coming into the starting lineup. But was anything a surprise to you with that starting lineup?
I did think possibly that Diaby, based on the fact that he obviously got a goal in the week. I mean, you can basically check all of these comments with, but we've got Man City and Arsenal coming up there for a bit of rotations expected. But I did think Diaby might play from the start based on the fact he seemed like he got back to a bit of form in the week, didn't he? And therefore, you might want to try and keep that going in terms of the confidence, because he looks a bit bereft of confidence in the last few weeks before that. Zaniolo coming in was a surprise. It was a surprise also similarly to him, because he didn't think he realised he was playing for most of the first half. But other than that, I don't know. I don't think Cash has done great lately, so it wasn't a massive surprise to see that back four we've seen away from home a few times start the game. And of course, Kamara was out, so therefore, there had to be a replacement coming in for him.
Yeah. Just got a shout out. Sorry, just the comments flying in. Just got a shout out, Rich there. Renewing his membership, been a member for over 1 month now. So Super Unai Emery, Ollie Watkins, up the Villa till I die. Thank you very much. And if anyone does want to become a member, just hit that $sign or hit the join button. It's just $1.99 a month to become an official Villa Park Pod follower. So yeah, we mentioned the start of the game and talked around kind of, I guess, considering that right back spot. He likes bringing in Diego Carlos particularly for away games, maybe for strength off set pieces. But the way Bournemouth started that game, I mean, they really got in our faces, got the ball out wide, and Tavernier and Semenyo were absolutely fantastic right from the off.
Yeah, I mean, really, really were. It was obviously reminiscent of when we played Forest a little bit, when you got Ilanga flying and Gibbs White, and obviously O&E in the middle. Like, it was a case of here we go again. But Semenyo, what a game! I bet he's going to sleep well tonight. Worked his socks off, got involved in a bit of argy-bargy, should have been sent off. I'm sure we'll come on to that. But what a handful! Kept getting in on that left-hand side. I mean, we were so exposed. Made me think after a bit, maybe Cash needs to be there for his energy as a proper right back. But Tavernier all over the shop. I mean, fantastic. I would really think he could add a bit of value to our squad. Tavernier was an absolute, for a bit of cover. I was just so impressed. If Solanke had his finishing boots on, I think we could have been a few behind, mate.
100%. I mean, you look at that front four there: Cliver, Solanke, Tavernier, and Semenyo, and we knew they would cause problems because they have been getting better as the season's gone on. But yeah, I mean, to the way they must have been a surprise to Villa, and just in behind them, the likes of Cook and Christie, even though they weren't necessarily the most physical players, really got in our faces and kind of, I think they shocked maybe Louise and Tielemans and McGinn, and that this physical battle again rears its ugly head, particularly in away games where we seem to get a little bit caught off guard physically.
Yeah, look, I think our midfield has been absolutely tremendous under Unai Emery, and I think we've said it a few times. I've certainly made the point that there'll be a lot of teams that in the league that would probably just take all of our midfield when it's been on good form. I'm including obviously Jacob Ramsey in that when he was at his peak. Clearly, Kamara, Louise, McGinn's been fantastic. Tielemans been great lately. But you and I have probably talked about this a few times, mate. That physicality in a game like today, whether that's a Rodri type character, a Philip Billing type character, a Dendoncker possibly at top form, whether he has top form at Villa at any point, but that kind of person that's got a physical presence but can get about a bit, that's got some legs. And I do think that's something that we lack a little bit in that midfield. And today would have been a great day for someone like just to kind of put themselves about a little bit, reminiscent of a Nemanja Matic back in the day type player, someone with a bit of strength, someone who can stick their foot in, someone who can put the foot on the ball. Obviously, McGinn was a bit further out wide as well. And clearly, I think, and I've only really thought this on reflection, but, Kamara was obviously a massive miss as well, because he's the one that does get about and does get his foot in. And he's there you go. Boom, bang on. Yeah. And if a team's up and at us, we seem to struggle a little bit. we seem to struggle a little bit, particularly away from home.
Yeah, definitely. And the bit about Kamara there, he's the one who steps into that kind of right-sided defender position, kind of cover that gap. And it did seem like we were a bit out of sorts with that at times, and that's where partly they kept getting in down that side. I mean, the goal was scored by Semenyo, not necessarily down to that, but they obviously took the lead after having such a good start, and it was a poor play from Diego Carlos, lazy pass out, and then I don't think Semenyo potentially score an easier goal, if I'm honest.
Yeah, I mean it was a tidy finish. Obviously you expect him to score, but Carlos. I mean, some of those passes sometimes are probably quite high risk when you're trying to do it first time, and look what happened the other day. Obviously, with Kamara's attempted pass out the cash, got caught out by a fantastic finish by was it Mookie? What was his name?
Yeah.
And today, I mean, it was just a simple ball into Semenyo, and then bang, corner 1-0, and you're thinking another game we've got to come from behind, away from home.
Oh mate, honestly, it was we're thinking backs against the wall again, but we seem to spring into life a little bit after that, and you could still see there were times once we broke that press, and it does seem like teams are now committing 4 or 5 players to really try and put pressure on our defenders, but once we break that, you can see that we have a lot of joy. Dini was getting joy down the left hand side when he was getting through. And obviously Bailey was getting a bit of joy. We were kind of risking it with Bailey out on that right-hand side, like you said, with Semenyo getting so much freedom. But it turned out that it worked for him in the fact that he picks up the ball out on that right-hand side, cuts inside on his left. The defender's giving him, I don't know what he's doing. He's basically telling him to go and have a shot, and he doesn't disappoint, and he smashes it into the bottom corner, and we're back level. And Leon Bailey again, mate.
Leon Bailey, waka waka, fantastic. I loved hearing the away fans serenading with his obviously song, which for a few months we didn't hear, obviously when he was in the doldrums. So it's just do what we want him to be doing, which is taking people on, getting a shot off. And there was a few times we tried to cut in enough shots today that were blocked, but that one was just great, arrowed into the corner. And 1-1, we're back in the game within 10 minutes. And then I thought, right, it's up for grabs now. And obviously a few minutes later, I thought, well, we've now taken the lead. But I mean, I don't know if you want to talk about that now, mate, but that was just so inconclusive in terms of the decision.
Yeah, the way the line was drawn, I mean, he was offside. I think he was offside. Like if it was just the way they took the camera angle from that side, but the other side, which they were showing on the TV or the TV stream that I could see, he was definitely offside. It was just a bit unlucky that it was off Watkins's flick and not off the direct free kick. But yeah, it was frustrating because you're thinking like all this attacking threat that Bournemouth have got, they're still leaky at the back. They still give you loads of time, loads of space, and we punished them like 2 in 2 minutes. It was frustrating, but yeah, I think it was offside. It was offside, but it was just the angle that they took they kind of took their decision from. That was the frustration and the length of time that it took.
Yeah, that's the thing for me. I mean, it's like any decision. If it gets to be such a lengthy decision-making process, then clearly, I mean, whether it's a clear and obvious error, same sort of situation for, that's normally when they're trying to overturn a penalty, isn't it? That kind of situation. Yeah. But I don't know if it's offside and you're telling me it's offside from what you've seen, then I'll have to grin and bear that. But I do think that kind of benefit with being with the attacker, it's just so frustrating. It ruins the game, because we've gone in a space of a couple of minutes. We think we're 2-1. We're like, right, let's now really grab hold of this game, try and get another before half time. And it kind of feels like it sucks the life out of you a little bit.
Yeah, it does. It gives the momentum back to the other team as well when it takes so long and all that kind of jazz. So yeah, it was frustrating, but I mean, the first half continued and getting loads of comments in around this point. Semenya, as good as he was, did he deserve to stay on the pitch?
Absolutely clear as day. Second yellow card. I was thinking the stream I was listening to had Leandri on it as the co-com.
Yeah, me too.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, I was thinking, we've obviously talked in our group sometimes about how we always seem to get a Robbie Savage on one comms or a Karen Carney at half time, or like we would seem to get someone that's basically a blue nose talking about it. So I thought, is he just going on about it so much because he's a Villa fan? And then when I just kept seeing the replay after replay after replay, I was thinking, no, that is definitely another yellow card. The ref, I don't know what he's thinking. What is the threshold for a yellow card? If clearly pulling someone back like that when you're on a booking. And Tavernier was lucky as well. Could have had another yellow card. And that does totally change the game, because in the matter of obviously a few minutes, we could have been 2-1 up. Fine, I'll take it was definitely offside point. But if we're playing against a team like Bournemouth, who've been massively on the up, giving it everything they've got, they're going out to 10 men. They're going to have to totally change the way they play. And I think we would have won that game then.
Yeah, exactly. And you're thinking he'd make a sub at half time, but he didn't. And he's a key player for them. I think it was Cliver as well that could have gone. Yeah. He had 2 or 3 fouls after it as well. And look, they were clearly putting it on Villa. But when you're pulling people back, I think it was the first one. I think he got booked for that. The second one, he does it again, and we're on the attack, and it's just like, what are you doing? And the ref's almost bottled it. I mean, Rich is really annoyed. Ref needs sacking, needs an investigation on him. We've got loads of other comments around the ref as well. Just I don't know, just seemed to be off it. Like, Adamski said ref was off it. Just didn't seem to want to send anyone off, which is not what you want anyway. But when you're making fouls like that, it's just poor. It's just poor, really.
Yeah, it is. It's just really, really bad. Really bad. I mean, and you just expect better than that in this league. But then, God, penny for Gary O'Neill's thoughts. I know he likes to have a little bit of a moan, but they seem like they get some in every 20 minutes, Wolves. And there's plenty of situations where managers have had problems this season, bad decisions all over the shop. And the thing is, I'm trying to be, again, unlike me, but fairly sort of reasonable about this perspective. Because there was obviously, Newcastle have had, issues in the Champions League, and then the next minute they get given a Brucey bonus in the league, and it feels like in one breath you'll be watching some clip from TalkSport or someone saying something, saying, "Oh my God, it's terrible. We're really hard done by," and the next breath you get away with one, and you kind of conveniently forget about that one that you got away with.
Yeah, you can't have hypocrisy in it. It's difficult. It's difficult. Gaz Oaks with a $4.99 super chat. I will come on to it. So thank you very much for that. I will come on to it in a second. I do want to speak about Mr. Watkins a little bit later. But yeah, thank you so much for your super chat, $4.99. Thank you, mate. Obviously first half ends 1-1. Martinez makes a wonderful save from Solanke. Douglas Luiz should really score as well. Great save from Neto. So both teams can count themselves, unlucky in a sense to not be ahead. Obviously, we had the goal ruled out for VAR as well. Second half, Nicolo Zaniolo goes off unexpectedly. We'll talk him in a bit. And then obviously, we start the second half in similar fashion. It's Bournemouth that are on the front foot again. And then, again, we're sloppy at the back. Maybe Leon Bailey should be challenging for the header better. Douglas Luiz lets a ball run past him in our own box. And Dom Solanke doesn't need another chance he rolls Pau Torres really well and puts it in. And 52nd minute, and we're 2-1 down. And it's just, again, looks too easy. The goals just seems too easy to score against us.
Probably the hardest one of his chances as well, wasn't it, really? Maybe he's there, Ollie Watkins. It was a great goal. I think there's errors there or things we could have done better. And that's the frustrating thing, really, because, again, you think back to that Forest defeat we had where, both goals were totally avoidable. again, did they deserve the win? Probably on the balance of play, yeah, even though we had more of the ball. So, you've got to look at that kind of thing today. You get a 2-2 draw, but Bournemouth have more shots. They're a bottom 6 team. They have more shots than you. They're more offensively threatening than you. So therefore, it's probably a fair result. But have we done all we could have done to prevent them getting out of that position? No. Admittedly, it's a great role on the defender, Pau Torres, isn't it? And then it's a good finish in the corner. And you're right, mate. It was that same sinking feeling that you get, isn't it? Thinking, we've got back in the game. Oh my God, we're 2-1 up. They're going to get someone sent off. Why has he not sent him off? Why has he not allowed the goal? Half time, right? A cup of tea. Let's go again. Oh, crikey, we're 2-1 down. Oh, and here we go again. Another away day.
Yeah, 100%. And I mean, I want to give credit to the fans as well, because the Villa fans kept singing throughout. You could hear them, and they stuck with the team. And I think that's a bit of the faith, that's a bit of the character again coming back into the team. And look, I think there was probably 2 or 3 moments in that second half that really allowed us to get back into the game. You've got the situation of being able to make the substitutions that we made. You bring in the likes of Ramsey on at half time. You bring in John Duran on, who can cause problems. You're then making a triple substitution of Cash, Moreno, and Diaby. Really, really strong substitutions. Martinez makes a phenomenal save to keep it 2-1. If he doesn't make that save, it is game over. And then the character to kind of keep going and going and going to get that goal in the 90th minute. Those were the kind of the main points for me in that second half.
Yeah, it looked like at no point were we going to get back into it. Obviously, there's that Duran shot which took a deflection. I thought
it was in. I thought it was in.
Yeah, all the way. But then really after that, we struggled to get the ball. We struggled to penetrate really at all. And then out of nowhere, and as soon as that went in, I was thinking. I think I alluded to this in our group chat earlier, but I didn't think we ever looked like we were going to win it. But like you'd see Man United back in the mid-90s, and they'd be like losing to some lower ranked team, and then they'd get an equaliser back with 3 minutes to go, and it's like, right, they're going to win this now by 2 goals probably. They're just going to bomb forward, and the momentum and the belief is just going to be coursing through their veins. The opposition are going to go into their shells, and I thought, right, we've got the goal, 90th minute. There's going to be, I thought there'd be more than 5 minutes injury time given as well, considering the first half. But I was like, right, let's go for it. And we never really did. But what a goal. Great ball by Diaby. I didn't think his crossing was too good until that point when he did that one. And what a header from Watkins. I mean, absolutely fantastic.
Yeah. I mean, I've got the still image there. To kind of check your run. Well, first you had to make sure he was onside. Then he kind of got a little bit ahead of the ball, or the ball was slightly behind him. Then he has to turn his neck to keep the power on the ball and place it into that corner. I mean, phenomenal technique. And yeah, I mean, as I said, in terms of the super chat from Gaz, at the moment he is in phenomenal form. Only Haaland and Son have more non-penalty goals than Ollie. Only Trippier and Neto more assists. Is that good enough? I mean, he is certainly the man at the moment in terms of those pressure moments and keeping us in games. And he literally, as we said before, the key players in that team: Martinez in goal, Ollie Watkins up front. Martinez keeps us in the game. Ollie Watkins wins us a point. That's what you want.
Yeah, I give him his dues, even though he's been a little bit hit and miss at times in the past as a Villa player. Obviously, we know the goal return and the assist return, the goal involvement's been incredible. But lately, even when he's not been brilliant in games, which he wasn't brilliant today, and the same, to be honest, in the Spurs game, he's scoring key goals, and that is what good strikers do. That's what the best strikers do. Even if they're not present really at all in the game, they had many chances. He was pretty anonymous, particularly first half, Watkins. But right at the death, particularly when he was a doubt for the game, to do that is a mark of what a great player he is, and absolute credit to him. He's become someone now that we rely on so much, and I mean that'll do wonders for his confidence as well. Because you make the point about the assists. I think Gaz makes a point about the assists as well. I mean, Son's got one more goal than Watkins, but only 2 assists. Watkins got 6 assists as well.
Is it 6 assists and eight league goals now?
Yep, exactly that.
Yeah.
He's got Haaland's clear on 14 goals with 4 assists. Salah's got 10 goals, 6 assists. So Watkins basically is 2 goals behind Salah, same number of assists, and that's Mo Salah, one of the greatest Premier League players. He's 1 goal behind Son, and then he's level with Bowen now on 8. It's just great. And to be honest with you, like he knows Watkins, he keeps getting these chances. We're not even at Christmas yet. He's got to be thinking he's on for the 20. He's got to be.
Yeah. Someone, I think it was Geordie Villan who watched the video before, said something about if Ollie Watkins, he needed 3 more goals before today in the calendar year to beat Dwight York's 2021 or something in a calendar year. So he's obviously got one today. So I think it's something like 2 more goals now. And obviously we've got City, Arsenal, we've got Sheffield United, we've got Burnley. So he's on track to get, like this Premier League. He's on track. He could get like something like 23, 24, 25 goals in this calendar year if he's if he's not if he's not careful. I mean, that'd be brilliant to do. But yeah, I mean, like you say, I think that was his only real chance of the game, and that's what you want from your striker to score at the clutch moments, and that's exactly what he did. And it certainly wasn't an easy chance. You know, he's been criticised in the past for missing those easy chances. Let's say this one was. I mean, it was a phenomenal header, absolutely phenomenal header. So full credit to Watkins. And he gets us a point. And before we get on to some of the performances, just in terms of reflecting on that point, I think 4 points from 2 away games is excellent, right? It's excellent. But I think where it sours it a little bit is, had that been the other way around, had we got a point away at Spurs and beaten Bournemouth, we'd have said, oh, that's good, you know, draw against Spurs, beat Bournemouth. But because it was the other way around, we may be thinking, oh, that's a little bit, you know, we should be beating teams like Bournemouth. But in reflection, it keeps us in the mix, and it's important not to lose.
Well, let me frame it a bit more differently for you, Richard. If we'd have beat Wolves, which you should have at the end, you know, Watkins hit the post, and we beat Forest, which you should really, because it's Forest and we're big old Villa.
Forest are good at home, though. You can't
criticize. Let me just roll with his bullshit point, right? And then if we beat Bournemouth today, which we should have, we'd be 4 points clear at the top of the league. 4 points clear. I'm making the point that, like, clearly you don't win every game, and there's always going to be moments. And it's not just the fact that we've taken 4 points from 2 away games. Admittedly, if you'd have got, you feel like you've missed the opportunity at Bournemouth. It's the fact we were behind in both games as well. So you'll be. I'd love to know what the stats are for teams that go behind away from home. How often they get anything out of the game? I bet it's minimal in the Premier League, because even if you're going behind against a team that aren't one of the bigger teams, it's still difficult to get back into it. So it's a real sign of character to be able to do that, and also to be able to hang on against what was quite a relentless, first half, certainly against Spurs, and relentless most of the game against Bournemouth. To be able to keep going and still think you can get something out of the game is a real sign of resilience.
Yeah, and we've criticised that about the Villa team in recent. I mean, even a couple of months ago. It just shows you what a couple of results where you come from behind to win does to you, because you kind of keep that faith. You know what you've got. And as I say, the changes off the bench, being able to bring those players on, we use 5 substitutions today, and they all can bring something different to the game, shows you what weaponry he's got to use. And there's still other players that could have been utilized. So yeah, I mean just great character, gives us a lot of momentum going into the next games. I mean, you think we get a last minute goal to rescue a point, Man City concede a last minute goal to snatch away 2 points. Which team is in a better frame of mind? It has to be us.
Yeah. And also they've got some suspensions and injury issues that are going to really cause some problems. I know the squad's obviously unbelievable, but they've drawn the last 3 games. So we've gained on them in the last 3 games. We've gained 4 points on them. So we've got 7 to their 3. So we're breathing down their necks. So what I was thinking early on today in the Spurs game, well, even if we manage to unbelievably beat them, we're still only going to go level on points to them, and now we'll be worse off because of the goal difference. Now, if we beat them, we'll go ahead of them, which is just, that'll be after 15 games of a Premier League season. I think Liverpool and Arsenal have got fairly easy games coming up in the week, so they should probably win. But
Then Arsenal have got us.
Yeah, what a carrot though! What a carrot for this team to think. You know what? We're through to the next round of Europe. We haven't got to worry about that really now until getting on probably for springtime. We need to do a professional job, but I'm sure we can get a point away in Bosnia. It's attack the league now. This is what you're here for. This is why you're a professional footballer. Some of those players that have come to us because they're high caliber players, and this is what they should be all about. Some of those players that have been here for some time, I'm talking a Cash, a Watkins, a Louise, etc. This is why they wanted to join Villa, and this is what they've worked hard to get to this point. Carpe diem, seize the day, fellas.
Deontay said, like Emery said in the post-match press conference, we Villa never give up. Gaz says 8 points coming from behind this season under Smith and Gerrard. If we went behind, it was game over. This is about mentality. Rachel said spot on, Deontay. That is resilience, which we haven't had for a long time. Rob said under Gerrard, the game was over no matter what. And Rich said mentality and character is the biggest change in this squad. Absolutely. Guys, we'll get onto performances in a second. But we've got over 50 watching on Sunday night, which is brilliant. If you haven't already, smash the like button, help us spread the word of the channel. And if you're new to the channel and haven't yet subscribed, please do hit that subscribe button. We want to hit 3K before Christmas. We need less than 250 now to do it. And I'm positive we can get there, but you guys are the ones that can help us. So smash the like button and hit that subscribe button if you are new to the channel. I just wanted to get onto a few performances, and quite a few people in the chat are talking about the Konsa tackle in that first half. First half, wasn't it? If I remember right.
Yes, first half.
Yeah. So Gaz says Konsa tackle. Black Rum says Konsa tackle was world class and won a point instead of nothing at all. Adamski said we didn't defend well as a unit, but some great stuff individually. That tackle from Konsa, best I've seen this season in the Premier League. I thought Konsa was a little bit ragged in particularly the first half. Again, I don't think right back is his position, to be honest. He's not as comfortable there, but that tackle was match saving.
It was reminiscent of Paul McGrath. I know there was a reference to him made in the commentary as well, but it really was reminiscent of the kind of thing that McGrath would have done back in the day. And you're absolutely right. I don't think right back is his position, and I think it's therefore exposing him a bit more than it might do at centre half where he's more comfortable. But that shows everything about him. It was literally a goal. That was going to be a goal. He was running through the centre of the pitch, right through on goal. Yeah, okay. To be fair, you've still got to get past Martinez, which is pretty tricky. But the odds on that being a goal were very, very high. And it's just that level of quality, the speed to get back. He did another tackle earlier on, I think, in the middle, maybe further up the pitch, which I thought was just great. Looked like he wasn't going to nick the ball, and he did nick the ball, and I think we went on an attack from it. I think it's a real asset of his, and just showing what a difference he makes to that team when he's in there, even if it's not in his favourite position. Yeah,
absolutely. And I know we've talked a little bit about him, but Emi Martinez again, 2 away games, 2 or 3 massive saves over the last 2 away games. He is just cementing himself as the best keeper in the world, in our opinion.
Oh, he was absolutely incredible today. The amount of great saves he made, point blank, tipping stuff around the post. It must be a nightmare. Solanke clearly obviously scored a really good goal, but he must have been questioning why he's not come off that with 3 or 4 goals today. People that have had Solanke in their FPL team must be absolutely devastated if they watch that game, because they could have been on a massive points haul. But that's the difference that he makes, and which is why that thing, that Ricky out at Forest is such a rarity for him. He's becoming. We know how good he is. We know how much we love him. and obviously he's been recognised now in terms of winning the Golden Gloves award. But what's he worth to us in terms of points? I always used to say this, don't know, about Man United and Peter Schmeichel. How many points a season is he worth? How many points is Martinez worth to us a season?
Well,
15,
look, yeah, he's got to be. It's got to be. I mean, the first season that he came in when he had all those clean sheets, I mean, there were so many games where we just about won. That was a key season for him. This season, I mean, these last 2 weeks already, you could argue that he's got us 4 points. I know Watkins is the one who's scored the winner last week and scored the goal that's got us back in the game. But you think about it, that would have been 2-2 last week had they not made that double save, and today it would have been 3-1 had he not made that save off of Solanke in the second half. So it's just amazing, and to think that he's getting into this form at this point in the season where we've got all these games coming up. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if he doesn't continue with that form that over the next few weeks, and maybe those couple of little mistakes that he did make against Forest have reset himself to be like, I need to be the man in goal here. I can make this team get into the Champions League.
Yeah, he's just magnificent, isn't he? He's magnificent, and obviously, captain of the team when McGinn went off. He's such a leader. He's such a leader in that team, and this is the thing that I think this team's got now. We talk about the character and the resilience. It's got throughout the team. We thought losing Mings, it was going to be something that was going to be, we were going to be left wanting in terms of some of that personality that you really need in the Premier League. But, with McGinn, I think Tielemans is clearly a leader. Douglas Luiz, Watkins, you've got Martinez, you've got look at the experience of Luca Digne and Pau Torres. You mentioned the subs that came on, the three subs that didn't come on were Longley, who's come from Barcelona, Dendoncker, who's a many cap Belgian international, and obviously Timmy Irobanum, but he still got some fantastic quality on. They're not even getting on.
Yeah,
we've got quality dripping through the squad now. But every successful team needs a good spine. Ollie's done it last week. He's done it this week. Absolutely key goals. The midfield has obviously been a real strength of ours generally. Admittedly, got a bit overrun in the first half, but it's helped the team to have your McGinn, your Luiz, your Kamara, your Watkins at the top. Obviously, Konza, Torres, and then of course Martinez at the back. It gives us that solidity that we've been missing for a long time.
Yeah. Rod said it's a long way since Neelan's goal line save kept us up on the last day. Rich Edwards said, absolutely, Rich, love that. Michael said, belief. Martinez has got belief. One negative we need to talk about, Mr. Nicolo Zaniolo. And if anyone has watched my instant match reaction, I've said it a few weeks ago as well. I'm just not having him. I mean, I just don't see it. I can't. He's slow on the ball. He's indecisive. He looks like, don't get me wrong, he's low on confidence and all that kind of stuff. But look, you're coming in on a loan. You've got to hit the ground running. I'm sorry, if you're coming in on a season-long loan or whatever it is with an option to buy, then it's on you. It's your prerogative to make the club want to buy you. Or if that club doesn't want to buy you, and you've put yourself in the shop window for someone else to want to buy you. At the moment, it doesn't look like he can kick a ball. What is going on with this guy?
The amount of times as well today, balls fed into him and he didn't actually go towards the ball. So he just kept getting the ball nicked from him in like basic football, like go to the ball and meet the ball. Don't wait for it to get to you. Shooting when he shouldn't shoot. Not shooting when he should shoot. Slow, predictable. Look, I know it's the stats of, 16 games, no goals or assists. You think about
it might be 17 now.
You think about the output of a Diaby, of a Bailey, of a Luiz and McGinn. They're all contributing with goals. Even Tielemans lately has obviously got an assist and a goal. You think about the contributions around the team. Even Duran, when he's come and got a few goals. It's not happening, and I don't know whether it's still a bit early to call it. And does that one goal possibly change it and goes on a bit of a run? But I don't think I'm seeing enough. at the moment to warrant his inclusion in the team. And it does question if this keeps going, will we potentially cancel his loan and replace him with someone else in January?
Yeah, I mean, it gets to the point where the problem is, in a dressing room, it's an unforgiving place, right? It is a very, very unforgiving place. And if you could see like the effort, if you could see him putting himself about, if you could see him trying to put tackles in, asking for the ball, like making himself available, then maybe like you could understand it. But when you can't even like make a movement towards the ball, and you then get it just taken off you. I mean, I saw Conte having a go at him, saying like, "Get your body in front of the ball," because it just keeps coming straight back. I know Gaz there says, fans were saying the same about Bailey. I agree. Fans were saying that about Bailey. Us on this podcast were saying Bailey needs to go and play for the Dog and Duck. Bailey got dogs abuse of Philip, not dogs abuse, maybe not quite. That was a bit over the top, but Bailey got a hell of a criticism. All I'm seeing on Twitter is, oh, give him time. He's not good enough. He ain't good enough. It was like playing with 10 men in the first half. And the problem is, like I said, dressing rooms are unforgiving. Players won't give him the ball. He just won't get given the ball. And you saw that last 20 minutes of the first half. They didn't want to give him the ball because he was just giving it away.
Yeah, I think you make a good point, mate. And I was obviously one of the ones that was pretty critical of Leon.
Don't get us wrong. We all were critical. We all were. Yeah.
Which makes you think, do you give him a bit more time? And as Unai made many mistakes in terms of his transfers. You've also got a question, did we bring him in because he was available? Was he a target? I'd like to think he was a target, but, obviously Monchi's not long been in. Maybe he was available from Galatasaray. We thought, let's take the opportunity. You've got to question, though, how long does he get given? Because you're absolutely right. And at the moment, he's particularly away from home. Look, I don't think Bailey, traditionally away from home, has been particularly effective. No. I think he has been more this season, and I think he did a great for his goal today. I think it was one of his better games otherwise. Put a couple of good balls in the box, but really, I think Bailey was fairly quiet. But hey, what a fantastic goal, and certainly did what he's been doing lately. But when you add to that, then obviously Zaniolo being pretty quiet, Watkins started quietly. That he just kept coming back to us. When you haven't got Kamara in the middle, you know you're in for a tough day.
Yeah. It's obvious I don't not want him to do well. I just can't see a player there. Like as Adamski said there, we knew Bailey was a player. We knew there was a player in there. It's just, Spengler said the difference is that Bailey's Villa's player, Zaniolo's a lone player. So it's almost incumbent on the player to impress the fans when you're on loan, if you know what I mean. But yeah, it just wasn't for him. I know Emery said he needed to give him minutes and wanted to get him some time, which is fine. I do agree. You've got to give those players some time out on the pitch, and because you might need to call on them when it matters. But if Ramsey's getting a half, he's getting back. He's trying to get back to the pace of the game. I thought there was times when he could have ran with the ball in the second half and he didn't. He maybe chose the safer option, but I can see the trajectory of Ramsey going that way. And unfortunately, Zaniolo will drop down, and maybe he needs to come on in a game where we're kind of winning quite well, or where he might be able to get to build his confidence up. But like I say, at this moment in time, I can't see anything. We've tried him in that support striker option. We've tried him in a withdrawn option in midfield. We've tried him out wide. I just can't see what position he looks like he can be effective.
I agree. I don't know where his best position is, because he doesn't look like he's good enough to play in terms of effective enough to play up top. Wide doesn't seem to be working. The number 10 role, which is where I thought he probably would play, doesn't seem to be working. I think it's time. You're absolutely right. Ramsey being back in, but even with obviously the likes of Moreno, being back in as well, that potentially means that people move up the pitch and stuff. So I can see a situation where he's going to be getting less game time. I think he'll probably get a game away at Zrinski Mostar. He'll probably get a game away at Middlesbrough in the FA Cup. And the chances in between might.
I'm sure he'll. I mean, he's like Emery said there, he wants to make changes for Wednesday. So there will be times where, you know, this team will be shaken up. Obviously, he took McGinn off with 20 odd minutes to go today, took Conser off with 20 odd minutes to go. He's trying to manage and balance the level of minutes that the players are playing. So it might not even be that, you know, like Cash wasn't in the team today. That might be just because he needs to rest him based on the game on Wednesday. Like, he's not doing it because potentially players are playing badly. He just needs to manage the minutes that the players are playing.
I think the other thing I'll say with Zaniolo is there's been plenty of players, particularly from overseas, that have taken time to get up to speed with the league.
Yeah.
And you know, and I think we just need to temper that, because there has been moments when I've thought, you know, he's got a bit about him. And you know, if that amazing volley, I can't remember what game it was in, but he did that fantastic volley. Was it Chelsea? Maybe might have been Chelsea. And
he done an overhead kick in the Conference League. I remember that one.
Yeah, he did a fantastic volley on like at a funny angle against Chelsea. And you think if that goes in, then it's very different, you know. And
yeah,
I think he's got himself nearly 20 caps for Italy. I think he played nearly 100 times for Roma. He's scored the winning goal in the Conference League final. You know, won it's Serie A Young Player of the Year. So he's clearly a good player. But is he a good player for the Premier League? And some players are like that. They're good footballers, but they're not quite for the Premier League. Plenty of players over the years that are absolute ballers abroad came to the Premier League and just didn't cut it. Plenty.
Yeah. It's just getting to the pace of the game. Like, just release that ball a little bit quicker, or be a bit more decisive in what you're going to do. There was a time where in the game today where he cut inside, Watkins made the run, drew the defender away, and you just think, just shoot. But then he tries to go out further out to the left, and it ends up just putting the ball out of play. It's like, and then I saw Emery trying to tell him to close a player down, and he was just hanging off it, standing off him. And it's just like, just commit more, and you'll get more out of it. Don't just do half and half.
Yeah. Bit when Watkins drew that player away and he ran through the middle, I thought, same as you, thought shoot. As he kept going further and further wide, I was like, this is what it'd be like if I was on the pitch and I had like Premier League defenders chasing me. I'd just be running away. It's like, what are you doing, Nicolo? Like, pass it to someone, or turn, or try a trick, at least do something. Eventually just end up going out of play. Like, yeah, I mean, maybe it just wasn't his day. Maybe away from home is not his thing. Maybe he needs a goal. There's all sorts of stuff basically you can say.
Yeah, I know.
It's not working right now. And let's be clear, you're not having him, are you? You're not having him.
No. I want him, as with any Villa player, I want him to do well. I want him to prove me wrong. But at this moment in time, as the chat is saying, he's the Italian Ross Barkley. Although Ross Barkley did start off like an absolute house on fire, so we can't really say that about Zaniolo. But yeah, I mean, just to finish up, in terms of today's result, like we've said, keeps us in that Champions League spot. Keeps us in touch with Man City now after they kind of dropped points against Tottenham. Keeps us, I mean, Liverpool getting that late win, but we're 2 points behind Liverpool. It's still so positive at the moment, Kev.
It is positive, isn't it? But it's also very, very alive, because obviously we're looking up, but Spurs are only 2 points behind. Newcastle, who've got, well, probably even better form than us, maybe lately. I think they've got the same as us, 10 points the last 5 games. They're only 3 points behind. Man United somehow still seem to keep winning most of their games. They're 5 points behind. Then there's a bit of a gap. So I do think there is a clear top 7 emerging. You know, whether Brighton and West Ham want to say something about that. Chelsea's run has been a bit stop-start, hasn't it, in terms of their comeback. Yeah. The point for me is that, you know, we are doing really well, but you've got to keep it going now, because you've got Newcastle waiting right behind you. You've got Spurs waiting right behind you. You've got Man United as well. And at least one of those games is going to be, one of those teams is going to really, really push us. But I look at it like this, you know, if you can get yourself through that Christmas period and you can still be in the picture, then it's time to attack it. And it will be interesting to see if we are there or thereabouts, whether they will try and really push on in January in terms of some signings, because will they see it as an opportunity to cement it? Yeah.
Well, look, I think we've covered the game really well there. Thank you for all of your comments in the chat. It was a really eventful game, to be honest with you. Lots and lots of drama, lots of incident again in these away games. I mean, it's not good. It's not good for my heart. These away games, I'm telling you, like so many chances in them. And Bournemouth really impressive. They are going to give teams a tough game at the Vitality Stadium. So yeah, watch this space. They've already beaten Newcastle. They've obviously got a point against us. Any team that goes, I think Arsenal beat them there, but they are going to give a couple of those teams in the top echelons a tough game. Now they're used to Iraola in terms of his management style. We're going to be back this week. I'm going to try do a fans forum tomorrow night, but I will be featuring on the Football's 12th Man podcast tomorrow, so do tune into that. I know a lot of you do watch that one, so I'm going on that one tomorrow evening. So do catch me on there. We'll be back with Talking Tactics on Tuesday, hopefully with Gareth. So watch out for that one. Plenty to discuss tactically from the game today. And then we've got preview for City, which I will be attending, and my son will be the Premier League mascot for the night. So do keep your eyes peeled on Amazon Prime for that as well. Little Aiden taking the match ball out. So yeah, get involved in that. And yeah, we'll be match reaction. We'll be match preview for Arsenal. Kev, it is going to be a busy week, mate.
Busy week, exciting week. This is what we're here for. We're playing the two key Premier League title challengers, basically the two favourites for the title. We're playing them back to back at Fortress Villa Park. This is why we're here, mate. This is what we wanted. You know, we're not playing Man City and Arsenal at home when we're 13th or 15th in the league. This is our chance to show what we're all about. Let's do it.
Let's do it. There you go. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't already, smash the like button, hit the subscribe button. If you're new to the channel, help us on the road to 3K. Kev, thank you for tonight. Thank you all for watching. And as always, remember, we all follow the Villa. Thanks, everyone.
Up and running, and Villa 1 is loud.